Services Architect from LGSS Digital, and I lead the digital programme at Cambridgeshire County Council. So I'm going to talk to you today about the impact of the Local Digital Declaration has had on my team and also Cambridgeshire County Council. Next slide. So before we get into that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what LGSS Digital does. We're a shared service working for Cambridgeshire County Council and also Northamptonshire and Milton Keynes, and we work with them to design and deliver end-to-end digital services. So we use human-centred design techniques to research problems and design solutions. We use Agile to deliver digital solutions, and we build digital solutions using our digital platform, which I'll talk more about in a minute. So first, we'll talk about redesigning services around the needs of people using them, a really important part of the MHCLG declaration. So it was a really key milestone for us as a result of designing the declaration that was creating our own design process based on the GDS service manual and also the service design standards. So we created this design process along with lots of tools and techniques and methods for helping teams really get to the bottom of the problems they're trying to solve rather than the symptoms, and research those problems and creatively and collaboratively create ideas to solve them. So the method really encourages us to prototype ideas and test with real users, fail early, gain feedback and iterate, rather than spending lots of money on a solution that may or may not work. So the declaration has helped us gain traction when doing this kind of work with the councils we work with, and the training that they provide has really helped us level up skills, not only within our team, but with the services themselves. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the fixing the plumbing and the building block approach. So LGSS Digital has been modelling the fixing the plumbing principle by helping break our dependence on inflexible and expensive technology. So we've been creating reusable building blocks, which is on the next slide, in a low-code platform, and procuring blocks, which has not only enabled us to provide human-centred solutions for Cambridgeshire, but across all of the LGSS partners. So we really do take that capability approach. We try to build once and then we reuse it. So the point of that is that we get better and faster with each application that we build, and we're learning and improving all the time. So an example of that is the user management layer that you can see there. And we build once the ability to have user accounts and the role management and stuff, and then we can put that in each digital service that we create. So an example of this is Badgeable. So we created an end-to-end digital blue badge service that is a great example of how we've used multiple building blocks, which have been reused not only across authorities, but for other digital services. So, for example, we use an integration to an automated identification provider so that people don't have to provide proof of who they are. And then we can use that for each of our digital services that we use. Another example is our recycling centre e-permits application, which again provides the end-to-end digital service from the online content, the application form, all the way to the back office management system, and then the app used by the site staff. So this service was built using a lot of the technology that we created when we built Badgeable, but we also created new building blocks for this, so such as the app, which the site staff use to validate permits, which then we could reuse for other services that require permits. It's kind of leading on to how we really did, the digital team, help with the COVID response in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. So in many parts of the country, the digital team really could showcase what they could do as part of the response effort. And our building block approach really did help us to support that response in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough. So we used a lot of our capability that we'd already built in our other digital services, and we built a system for the hub to manage the data on our shielded population and record our proactive contact that we made to all of those people to make sure that they were safe and well. And we built this in just a week, well designed and built it in just a week. And since then we could iterate on it in a live environment. So we were always getting feedback from the users about what was working, what wasn't. We were iterating on it, we were improving the usability of it, and also as part of that we integrated it with the Gov Notify service so that we could automatically email and text people who would prefer to be contacted in that way. And then, like I say again, we now have that Gov Notify service, which is another reusable building block which we can then use in other services going forward as well. So moving on to digital leadership and culture. Again, this is something that has really been helped by the declaration. We've been working with Cambridgeshire County Council and system partners and real users to create the conditions for genuine organisational transformation to happen all around the needs of the users. So we run collaborative problem solving events with services, we bring service professionals into the mix, not just so that they can share their knowledge, but so they can play an active role in the design process too. So we found this to be exceptionally powerful. We don't just want to keep these kinds of skills within the digital team. We really want to kind of get that out into the wider council. So last year we conducted a lot of user research with families by training service professionals in user research. And I remember one person from the Children's Commissioning Service being so moved by the experience, as it really shone a light on the fact that commissioners don't really spend a lot of time with the people that they're commissioning services for. So you can see the secret source poster there was for that project. And we run open sessions for staff, so show and tells, training sessions, where they really just help people think differently about how to approach problem solving and just trying to create that culture of designing services from the outside in. And we've also brought things like the concept of design sprints to the council. So the picture at the bottom there was taken on the first day of a week-long design sprint last year about mental health, and that was with people from all over the system, and there were service users there as well. And lastly, culture. So we know that our work in the declaration is making a big difference to the culture of Cambridgeshire County Council. Not all of a sudden, but gradually it really is making a difference. So people start approaching us because they want to truly understand their users and design services that work for them rather than jump to solutions. The picture on this slide was taken for a digital solution that we were prototyping to help people with learning disabilities find technology that might help them become more independent. So we ran lots, we co-designed it, co-created it, we prototyped it and then tested it with a lot of real people, and at the moment it's in development. So the coronavirus pandemic as well has been an incredible accelerator, as you've all said, showcasing digital ways of working, designing minimal digital services, testing them in a live environment, iterating them based on user feedback, and the pace in which we were able to design and develop digital services and solutions during, especially in the early weeks, was just staggering. And I think all of Cambridgeshire really learned a lot at that time. So in the last couple of years, we've been getting more involved in more strategic pieces of work too, where the council's been striving to work better as a system and joining with more public sector partners to try and put our users at the heart. So as it's in the digital declaration, we really try to lead by example, working in the open, sharing stories about the work that we've done and what we've learnt. We're working collaboratively with people inside and outside the organisation, and we really just try and give people that experience of learning by doing in the design process. So working in and embracing the ambiguity. And we sort of challenge that perception that people don't like change by creating safe spaces and simple tools for people to be involved and be part of the change, which we just find encourages excitement and engagement and creativity. And then solutions are co-created, tested, and then everyone's accountable and everyone can celebrate in the success and or learn together in the failure. So both of those outcomes are equally useful in working in that safe environment. And we all know that culture can be the reason why innovation and digital transformation projects fail. So we've been leveraging the power of the declaration to drip feed that culture shift as people start to enjoy working in a more agile and exploratory and experimental way. And we're just finding the results are just so much better. So yes, that's everything we're doing in Cambridgeshire. So as I say, I'm Kat Sexton. If you would like to talk to me or ask me any questions, I'm more than happy. And if you'd like to read any more about what we've been doing, the website address is there. We do blog about our projects so that we can share the learning. So thank you.
Thank you, Kat. So we've got some questions for you, and so I'm just gonna read them out to you. And I'm sorry to kind of Jack and Neil on missing your questions earlier for Simon. There's about a 10 to 20 second lag, but I'll help answer those after the council showcases. So first question for you, Kat. What's your biggest challenge been during COVID?
Biggest challenge was I suppose understand within the county council hub, we were very clear about kind of what our role was, looking after the shielded population. But I think it was kind of trying to make that really joined up approach with all of the district councils as well, to really make sure that we were all doing kind of our roles and responsibilities. So there were a lot of people working in the hub, making sure that we had that constant communication with all the other partners, coordinating all of that work. But I think it really worked, the fact that actually we were going into the office, we were having daily meetings twice a day, and that just really worked. And I think we've learned so much about it. I mean, it was all challenging, but we kind of just saw it in a really positive way, because we just acted, and we did things. We were checking with people to see if it worked, and but just being really proactive with people. So it was challenging, but also really rewarding.
And what would your advice be for other councils looking to sign local digital declaration and work in line with the principles?
I think it is really important to have that senior leadership buy-in, and I think if you can really understand how the declaration can benefit you and the principles can benefit you, and really get your senior leadership buy-in, then I think that will really help. But certainly from my experience, it's not something that happens overnight. And the way that we did it was just by getting some early adopters, working with teams that were really open to this way of working, getting some quick wins, applying for funding bids, really then talking about the work that we're doing, showcasing it, generating that excitement from a grassroots level. And then we found that, like I say, it kind of just starts flowing out. People start reading what you've done, they start hearing about what you do, and it's amazing that you find these sort of people all over the organisation who are already thinking like this, but are finding it difficult to really make a difference, because they're kind of on their own in their sort of service. So what I try to do is sort of collect these people from around the organisation, and then together we can sort of create a bit of a movement, which is kind of how it's been working for me.
Thank you. And another question for you: what is the size of your team across the shared service?
Well, actually, there's only about 25 of us, and that's sort of Scrum Masters, designers, user researchers, people in leadership. Yeah, we're actually not a very big team at all. Yeah, and developers, obviously, we've got lots of developers who are actually creating these products.
Thank you. And another question: what aspect of digital do you think isn't being used to its full potential?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think probably it's the thing is with me is I'm the lead designer, so I talk much more about the design aspect of digital rather than technology. But I think probably there are some gaps in the design aspect, and but I think that's where the declaration as well can really help, because the courses that are run on user research, on service design, on the business analysis, if people really start understanding that aspect, then the rest does sort of fall into place, in my personal opinion.
Thank you, Kat. I think that's all the questions for you, so thank you very much for telling your story.
Thank you.
So up next we have Paul